Well, our brother who's coming to us today, he really doesn't need no introduction. You know, he's spoken to us many times, and he leads with the Inspiration Ministries, and he teaches the Bible from A Course in Miracles. And he gives insight in a way that I just appreciate, and so I affectionately named him the Code Cracker. And so if you don't know, you're going to hear something today that will pique your interest, and hopefully it'll have you to go deeper in your own spiritual walk. So at this time, with no further ado, I'd like to bring up our brother Ahman.
Hey, good morning. This is the day that the Lord has made, and because we are glad in it, we are here in the right frame of mind. And no Dr. was going to be here. Now I got to make sure what I'm saying is right. Got a spell checker back there. That's all right. Keep me on point. I always forget to thank Diana, who is not here, but she is a great helper to me. The pass outs that you will have in your hands, the handout in just a moment. I generally have them all the time when I'm teaching. I'm more of a teacher than a preacher. So that's why you have the handout. I want to kind of make sure I'm covering all of the basic principles, but, and also when you leave here, you can reinforce that in your consciousness and let it go deeper into your soul, and let it be a hearing in your ear, so to speak. And so I want to say thank you, Diana, for helping me all the times that you do when I am preparing for these sessions. She's listening by way of Zoom. And Daisha always does not need a notice ahead of time. She says, you don't need to do that. I got you covered. Anybody who's working with me who expects me to know what I'm going to do in advance don't know me. Sometimes I get requests to speak and they tell me, we'd like to know what your topic is going to be. There's nothing more stressful and painful for me than to try to give somebody a topic of what I'm going to say a month from now, or sometimes 2 months from now. I don't know till I'm driving in sometimes. Someone came to my house in Long Beach to ride in with me. He's closer to the water than I am. He said, I want to ride in with you. And so here we are riding in. And he was in conversation, but I wasn't listening. I wasn't responding too much. And then halfway through, he was still mentioning stuff. So I tapped him on the knee and then I said, I'm downloading. I'm getting the message. Oh, brother, I'm sorry, he said. I won't say anything until on our way back. I remember when is the anchoring idea for my talk. I'd like for you to say that with me. I remember when. When is the strong word, but one word is no stronger than the other in this sentence, this topic. When in the sense of before and after, yesterday and future kind of idea. But the goal of the idea is to move you out of the minute that just passed, even through and beyond the minute that you're in now to the future. But the future and the past and the now is all symbolic or metaphorical. I'm not talking about the real past or the real now or well, I don't want to use the word real. The way you normally think about past, now, and future will be a little different. We're talking from the spiritual aspect. I know that the theme for the month is spiritual manhood awakening. That is the experience that you will have from understanding what I am saying. Spiritual manhood awakening. The spiritual man that I see in this thing is something that was before the beginning that is in you now, that is a part of you. The spiritual man. And this message will be a message that will awaken that spiritual man within you. I will refer to it as the instinctive man. The instinctive self was before there was anything. All right? And so the handout that you have begins with a quote by the poet Tennyson, who said, "More things are wrought," meaning brought about, come to pass, happen. More things happen in your life, in this world, than you can dream of. It happens by prayer. Prayer meaning it happens by what's going on in your consciousness all the time. You don't just pray when you stop at 6 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock at night, or when you're begging for something. You're praying always. You're praying always. You're in community, prayer, in community with God. You're in community. There's a dialogue. There's all the time. More things are wrought by prayer. There's silent communication with God than this world dreams of. Job 42:5. Job said, now this is 40 verses, 40 chapters down into the book. Chapter 42, I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, by going to the temple, by reading the scrolls, by keep going, meditation and prayer and listening to the CDs and the YouTubes and watching TV. I have heard of thee by the hearing of, I've got it in the head. I know this stuff backwards and forwards. You ought to see my book. It's just wore out. You ought to see my science and my textbook. I bring it every now and then, let y'all look at it. Just tattered. Look like it's been around 100 years. Like 10 people have owned it before. But see, all of that is in the head. It's in the intellect. I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear. But now, 42 chapters down later, going through experiences, going through suffering, going through pain, going through losses, going to the point he just want to curse God and die. He says, but out of that, now, it was out of that. Now, my eye seeth thee. Mean now I understand. Now I understand. Sometimes it takes that for us to understand. Ask me. Ecclesiastes, verses 1, 9 through 10. What has been will be again. That's why I said, I remember when. About that customary, conventional way of understanding time. We're talking about a different concept of time from the fourth dimension, not from the third dimension aspect of thinking. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. What you're experiencing in your life, you experienced it before you experienced it. What is happening in your life, you've already finished it. It's already finished. Now you are expressing it, manifesting it. It's just coming to what you call reality, which is not reality. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. We're talking about your thoughts. your present thinking. There is nothing new under the sun. Anything that is going on in your life, you've seen it, you've known it before. You could have, I should say. Is there anything of which one can say, look, this is something new? It was here already long ago. It was here before our time, which is our time. Are we talking about fate, F-A-T-E? No. We're talking about destiny. If we were talking about fate as if it had to happen and nothing you could do about it, then that's fate. We're talking about the same thing, but we're giving it a different meaning and understanding. We're talking about destiny. And in presenting it and teaching it the way we're teaching it today is that it's empowering. It's not an indictment. It's not an accusatory. It's not blaming you for the mess that you're in now, the sickness or the depravity or even all of the joy and the happiness and the prosperity in your life. You know, it's not judging that. We're talking about self-control. You have control over anything that is happening in your life, even if it has come to pass and it is to your dislike, or it has not come to pass and you want it. Yeah. We're going to skip the next verse because of time and go to Isaiah 55. So shall my word be that goes forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void. Your word is your thoughts, your ideas, your consciousness, your feeling, your attitude, your beliefs. Always going forth before you. So shall my word be that goes forth out of my mind, shall not return unto me void. It shall come again, but it shall accomplish that which I please, my desires fulfill, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. It's automatic. It has to. It must return to me because it's law. It's law. So John 14:1-3 says, now that it has happened, let not your heart be troubled. Because see, that word goes before you to prepare a place for you, and the I is your imagination. Lesson on the heading in the first page on the topic, it says, the power of imagination. And we're talking about the power of your imagination that does not sleep. That does not sleep. James. See, the imagination goes before you to prepare a place for you. Then that same imagination, that desire, that image, that vision comes back and receives you unto itself. It makes a way out of no way. Shows up as reality in your life. James chapter 1. Okay? What did James say? Dear brothers, is your life full of stuff that has come back to you from your own imagination? Words, feelings, and attitudes, and desires, and visions, and hopes, and that have gone before you and created experiences for you? Dear brothers, is your life full of difficulties and temptations? Then, what? Laugh. Have a laugh. Be grateful for whatever it is that is manifesting in your life. You created it. Not the devil. It's not coming as some punishment. It's coming as a consequence, as an effect, the law of cause and effect. It must happen. The feelings that you're emanating and radiating, the ideas, the energy, the attitude, the words that you're speaking. Oh, I was just joking. I didn't mean that. God knows. Yeah, God knows. Is your life full of difficulties and temptations? Then be happy that the law has worked. For when the way is rough, your patience has a chance to grow. You've drawn to you assignments and lessons that you need to stretch you into whatever it is you're praying for. That's where your strength. You said you prayed for strength. Okay. Be careful what you ask for. What you want? You want to love and learn to love? Be careful. You want to be rich, you want more money, you want a bigger house, you want a bigger... Be careful what you ask for. You will get it. So let it grow. And don't try to squirm out of your problems. Who are you blaming it on? For when your patience is finally in full bloom, then you will be ready for anything, strong in character, full and complete. James 1:4. My brother, count it all what? What does that mean except be grateful? Be grateful for whatever it is that you have or don't have or wish you had or whatever. Stay in gratitude for it, because staying in gratitude for it, you're not recognizing it as something that should not have happened. And so you blame nobody, not even yourself. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into trouble, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience, what is patience? Patience is a characteristic of God. Patience is a characteristic of your instinctive man, your instinctive self. You have patience. You don't pray for patience. Now, patience comes with you. Patience was before the beginning. But let patience that's already within you, which is a characteristic of God, have its perfect work, that you may be perfect, entire, wanting nothing. Deja vu. Nancy Wilson or whoever it was, and who else, different ones saying a deja vu. She said, this is insane. All you did was say hello, speak my name, healing your love. Like a love what? I used to know long ago. How can it be? You're a different space and time. We're talking about a different space and time when we talk about yesterday, now, and future. You're a different space and time. Feel like I'm home in a place I used to know long ago. What is my topic? I remember when. Hold on to that. So deja vu, we're always experiencing a deja vu. You're walking in here today is a deja vu experience, as it truly is for me, because Sunday morning of this week, I was planning to be here last Sunday when I went to bed Saturday night. But Sunday morning, I was in Kaiser emergency room and couldn't be here. So my being here today is a deja vu, because what I was experiencing and going through my body, I knew I couldn't be here this Sunday and maybe some Sundays to come, because of the level and degree of pain I was experiencing. So I sat up in my bed Sunday night after being in the hospital till noon that Sunday. I sat there, propped myself up, Dr. Ronnie, and I imagined myself being here preaching a sermon. And I saw your faces. And I saw me bouncing up here just like that. So right now I am remembering when I was laying on that gurney in the ER. Understand what I'm saying? I remember when Monday morning I got up and was wondering, how am I going to get back to the hospital? Because the morphine they gave me that night and the other stuff they was injecting in my arm, they called it, I can't tell you what they called it, but the morphine wasn't working. I see my niece there where they're talking up a storm because they wonder, like, I didn't know nothing about it. Now, she lives just around the corner from me. She didn't know nothing about it. That's what they talked about. I didn't know what I didn't get you doing, nobody. But that's how I roll. Uh-huh. So Monday morning comes, and but you see, at that moment, I shifted into prayer mode. Wondering, how am I going to get to the car to go? So I called the appointment desk. I said, I need to come in, but urgent care, I'm not standing in no line now. Do you want me to go back to ER? Do you want me to come in? I mean, because I can't stand in the line, but I got to come back to the doctor. So she made me an appointment, and I went in. And while I was sitting in the doctor's office, the phone rings. My intention was to call Reverend Paul and Reverend Lisa to be on alert about this first Sunday here. At least let you know what I'm going through. And the phone rings, and who calls? One mind. Reverend Paul. Never called me before like that, early in the morning. And I wish I should bring him up here and let him describe the tone of voice and conversation that he met. Was I laughing? I laughed and I said, coincidence. I was going to call you. And he went on to say, well, brother, let me tell you why I'm calling. I want to know that Reverend Gerald asked you to facilitate the Wednesday prayer visioning session because he won't be in town. I said, no, he didn't. But I'll be there. What? And I'll also be there on Sunday. I'm laughing, in pain, because the nurse had told me to sit down, and I was wondering how I'm going to sit down. So I had a cane, and I managed to sit down. And then when I sat down, I sent him a text, and I said, I'd like to talk to you and Reverend Lisa by Zoom when I get home. We went on through the thing. So that's Monday, I went home. They gave me more. Oh, tell you about the conversation. Well, I'm 78. At your age, if the morphine didn't work, and there's Norco is a drug. Y'all know what Norco is? That's a narcotic. Another one didn't work, and this don't work. And the ibuprofen, at your age, we can't give you ibuprofen for an extended time, and this, because it'll damage your kidneys and da-da-da-da. Let me think. Then he gave me something else, and I said, I just wanted to hear a second doctor's opinion. And I heard what I wanted to hear, needed to hear, all of them saying the same thing about what they thought my situation was. Well, so I said bye. And I came on home and decided to do the work. And I kept my mind on nothing but this. When I got home, Reverend Paul called Reverend Lisa to have this conversation that I wanted to have. I said, I need to talk to you by Zoom because I want to laugh. Is that what I said? No. I want to see your face. I want to laugh. And so they called me and they were on Zoom, and I laughed all the way through. And what I did, my conversation went like this. Miss Janetta. I said, you know what? I'm grateful. I'm just grateful. I said, I've had two friends of 40 years. 40-year friendship. One passed on about a year ago, and he had a death, exit, painful, suffering. And then I just came from a memorial service last week from the other one. Only have had about 3 close friends of 40-year relationships. One still living in Connecticut. And that one who just passed had such a uncomfortable, disturbing exit of suffering. And what I said to Reverend Lisa and Reverend Paul, I'm so grateful that at my age, never, and I'm not dealing with any life-threatening illnesses as so many people are experiencing who I know. And I talked to him about our Tuesday night group. There are several people in there who have made it known to me that they're going through those kinds of life challenges, pain. And this is for the conversation that we had. And I said, I received an email from one of them just today who described to me the level of pain that she is in constantly. And she's practicing the principles and whatever, tried this, tried that, and so forth and so on. And then there are a few others on that Tuesday night group who have let me know what they're working with, their challenges. And here's what brought me here today to this topic. And here's where I started laughing with them. I said, well, let me tell you, because he didn't know until this point that I was in ER both days and what I was there for. Because in all this conversation, I hadn't told him that until this. I said, let me tell you, when you called me, I was in emergency room, in urgent care. And I said, what happened was I was on the freeway a few months ago, on the 91 freeway, because I drive fast. I don't like nobody in front of me, you know. If we say freeway, you know. So where I am in the fast lane, the big old truck suddenly comes to a halt. Bam! And I'm driving a car that has the kind of, the brake system. Bam! It comes to a full stop immediately. And so that meant that the car traveling behind me at 70 plus miles an hour plows right into the back of me. Bam! I sat there for some time before I could get myself together. And when I got out, I just knew my rear end was crashed into the back seat. But you know what? It's just like a little scratch. Like nothing happened. I said, well, there goes my money. So what happened was the doctors were telling me then all this that I'm going through. Then I said, what I decided to do after reading that email from this person and thinking about all of these emotions that I've been going through recently, my compassion and my heart and my healer consciousness within me feels that I need to step up and do more. So I said, I sent an email to one of the people who I haven't seen in about 3 weeks. And I sent her an email saying, how are you? Are you okay? She sent a message back saying, I'm in Europe on job assignments, and I'll be back June next week. And so what I did, I responded to her by saying, starting within the next few days, I am going to start a spin-off prayer group on Zoom. And the theme of it will be pain clinic. You shaking your head. I'm shaking my head. You shaking your head. Because when I said it, I was in this kind of attitude and mood, shaking my head this way. But now I'm shaking my head this way. Because I told Reverend Paul on the phone about what I'm telling you. I said, but Reverend Paul, now I'm going to change the name of the other session. I won't call it pain clinic. because this is what happened. As soon as I sent that email, be careful what you ask for. You might get it. I go outside, there's a freestanding room out there, not a building. It's really like an extension of a pantry for me because I got shelves in there with all kinds of foods and a freezer to stand full. So I went out there to get something from that freezer because I knew what I wanted to cook. All of this activity that's going on in my body since the accident, I never felt from the accident. I had never had this kind of reaction. I bent over just normally to pick up something. And when I stood up, I was in the greatest degree of severe pain that you can imagine. I didn't know how I was going to get back to the house. That must have been, if I was in the ER Sunday morning, that must have been Saturday evening or something. And from that, just bending over normally is what activated that experience. And so when I came back in, I said to him, I'm not going to call the pain clinic. I won't call it pain because I got a message. God don't know nothing about pain. And you're going to attract people in there talking about pain, making pain real. You're making pain real now. You better get away from that so that you can understand that pain is not real and is certainly not of God. There is no truth in pain and no pain in truth. You don't want to do a class on pain. I don't want pain in the name at all. So I had to get my mind away from pain. Sickness is not real. Pain is not real. It's all in your mind. If I didn't believe that and practice that, number one, I wouldn't be standing here today. Number two, I would have had some kind of assistance to get up in here today. I wouldn't have been able to drive my here today. I wouldn't have been able to live life normally on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because it was Thursday or Friday. My niece over there called, Uncle Ahman, I want to take you to lunch. That was Wednesday or Thursday. It had almost gone away, but the radiation down the leg and all of that, and sensitive walk was still there. She's sitting over there. We went through the whole lunch. I asked her that I mentioned it to her one time. Why? I got something in the oven. And it says it's ready when the temperature says 450. And when it gets to be 450, you leave it in there till Spirit tells you to put it out. Now, if I told you and you and you everything that had happened to me from the freeway and then every time you see me, that 450 is dropping down to 375, 220, because of the way you think. You're still looking at the pain. You're still looking at the morphine and the narco and all of that kind of, and you're watching to see how I'm moving and that. No. Leave me alone. I got this. Me and Boo. How you doing? You better. What you need? I got this. Get it? Let's go to... I think your page, it might be page 7. It says Grandfather's Secret. This is from Mozamdar, A.K. Mozamdar, writer from around the 1930s, somewhere around in there, one of my major teachers. So the rest of this stuff you can take home and read. That's why I just hand out. Go on a speaking tour and tell somebody you want to speak. A few years ago, this vision was mine. I was taken in spirit into one of the early mansions on Fifth Avenue in New York City at the turn of the century. As I entered, I saw that 3 generations were present, and I heard the eldest man telling the others of their grandfather's secret. Grandfather used to say, while standing on an empty lot. Now, this empty lot will be for you. What is it that you've been praying for to change? Where is there pain in your life that you need to have dissolved? You can't dissolve it. For spirit to dissolve it. I just don't feel it. You know what? When I walked up here and sitting in there, I was feeling the radiation. A residual of it still there. But right now, I don't feel it at all. So I want you to say to me, say with me, whatever it is that's in your mind, your spirit, that you've been praying for to change or to heal in your life. Say this 3 times with feeling. Let me say it first before you repeat it. I'll let you know when to say it because I want to get it ready for you. I believe it is happening right now. Not yet. I want you to feel it. Now, I want you to go beyond believing it to knowing it. Don't say it yet, but what I want you to say is, I know it is happening right now. Believing and knowing, they're not the same. What I want you to say, and say it with realization, claim it in the name of Jesus. Now, in the name of Jesus to us means in the manner in which he would say it. And in the manner and nature in which he said it. That's his name. And it was so. What is it that I want you to say? I want you to think about it and just whisper it. Put it out there. Don't just think about it. Utter it. Speak it softly. Whatever it is that you want God to change in your life, to draw into your life, to dispel from your life, to disintegrate chemical life, whatever. Hold that in your consciousness, in your mind, as a knowing it is happening right now. Now, what I want you to say, it is happening right now. Come on. It is happening right now. Once more. It is happening right now. One more time. It is happening right now. It's just as simple as that. It is done unto you as you believe. While standing on an empty lot, that's your empty lot. I remember when this was an empty lot. That's what grandfather would say. Now, back in New York in the 1930s or 40s, whatever period of time it is, there was land, open land. But they had some builders going up in there, and his grandfather was one of them. This is true story. Our grandfather was standing on the empty lot. I say, while standing on an empty lot. I remember when this was an empty lot. Then he would paint a word picture of what he wanted to build there. He would describe it. He saw it vividly in his mind's eye as he spoke. And in time, it was established. And in time, it came to pass. The building that he was vividly describing showed up on the lot. He went through life in that manner, objectively realizing what he had at first subjectively claimed. I go before you. Your imagination, your desire, whatever it is that you're pining for, whatever it is that you are praying for, your goal, your aspirations, your dreams, your hopes, your whatever your feelings, your attitude, is always going before you, creating something in that empty lot. I tell you, everything in your outer world was first subjectively appropriated. I don't care what it is. So that pain that I manifested. Now, where we go crazy and wrong is that we want to sit down now and analyze, try to figure out all of that. I don't go into that. Trying to analyze and figure it out. It doesn't happen, that's enough. How I created and why, I'm not getting into all of that. I'm 78 years old, I ain't got time to be messing around all that stuff. No, too old. Ain't got that much time left. Spending 6 weeks and 6 months trying to unlock all of that stuff, all the mysteries of how it happened, what did you do wrong, and I don't know. I know I'm owning it, I claim it. For some reason, now I'm going to learn lessons from this. And the way I'm going to learn lessons from this is teach a class in it. This author here, Mozendar, said in his early days when he was learning, things that he didn't understand, he preached a sermon on it. That's my method of teaching. When I want to learn something, when I'm going to heal through something, I teach a class, I take a workshop on it. I teach a class on it. So I'm going to start this class. It won't be called Pain Clinic. I learned my lesson. God says, so you want to teach pain? How can you teach it if you don't experience it, you don't know it? So I'm going to give you some pain. I attracted pain so I can learn how to teach pain. Didn't I? It Works will be the name of it. It will be called It Works. It works. Are you thinking about this? Whatever you experience it in your life, you created it doesn't mean an indictment. It means a sense of empowerment and control. I can change it. I can change it. And God will do it for me, but God must do it for me through me. There's more to this. But how does God do it for me, through me? Oh, I'm about to say something up in here. Then I'm going to sit down. But this is what you must leave here with, because this is the beginning, the middle, and the end of everything that I just said. I said, God will do, can do it for you. But that's a crippling statement for if you're from the other church. Because they sit there waiting for God to do something for you. What you said, and no, that's not a period. There's a comma or a semicolon or something after that. There's not a period. Because the scripture says this, God, all things are possible. But we, the other folks, teach that all things are possible. We teach with God, all things are possible. We jump in there with God. Because God says, I can do it for you only through you. Through you. There's something you got to do. I can do all things for you through you. Now, this is how we have learned on Tuesday nights, because Reverend Lisa's sitting up there, Reverend Paul, it's over and over and over. How does God do it through you? That's a mystery. That's a mystery. Hidden from the ages. And you don't understand that mystery until you come into a teaching like this. God does it for you, through you, as you. As you. As itself. Jesus didn't believe this. Jesus knew this. Jesus knew, and that he knew it to the point where he declared in his living statement was, I and the Father are one. That's it. And so it is.
Before I call up the musicians, I want to share something that came to mind while he was saying that. And when I was growing up, I had all brothers, and so we had all the chores around the house. And so one day I got real sick and I was coughing and sneezing a lot. And so they took me to the doctor. My parents took me to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, he's allergic to dust. And then my father said, oh, he is? Well, I got the right thing for him. He gonna dust. And I had been dusting ever since I was like 6 years old.